for those that are still getting to know AEW in our area, you're one of the early guys here. Like, you were actually one of my favorites when Team Taz first kicked in. I just got 100% behind Willie Hobbs. And what did it for me the most was a photo that you'd posted of a young fan dressed exactly like you, like head to toe, ready to go. And
Yeah, the overalls, man.
yeah,
Name is Jordan. So that was definitely a surprise, and it was humbling. And just knowing the fact that I have someone besides my children looking up to them, it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, he had the whole exact fit. It was airbrushed to a T, and everything was good. And I think that night I gave him a original pair of black overalls that I had. So I told him he had some time to grow into these.
that's something. With all due respect, at that time, you were still a name that was on the up in AEW. To have that kind of an impact on a young fan, I think that's one of the things that we forget about as grown up wrestling fans. Sometimes we forget what it's like to be kids, to see people that we can look up to and see. And I'm sorry, I'm taking away all the tough guy image right now, but I mean, this is
The bell. There's no ring around us. The cameras aren't on. Ricky Starks isn't in the ring, so you're safe.
But in all seriousness, you had that opportunity, and you see now that what you do is influencing generations beyond. I mean, for you, obviously being a wrestler, being successful in the business is one thing, but did you ever think that you'd be starting to form a legacy like that with fans so soon?
I knew it would happen at one point, but I didn't know how soon. I think once we broke out of Daly's place in Jacksonville, things started to get real for a lot of us, especially me, traveling every week to a different city and just seeing how people react to you when you're walking down the aisle and in the ring. And then once you start having merch, you see your merch in the stands. And, once you have action figures, you see people, posting about your action figure. And, all that is, man, it's a blessing.
You're in a video game now too, man. That's got to be something on the list.
My son, Bam Bam, wakes up like at 6 a.m. ready to play.
Does he play his dad?
Yeah, and he's also beat me a few times, so maybe we got to straighten that out.
Well, as long as he's playing as you and not Ricky Starks, I guess that's probably the best thing. Yeah.
He can go live outside if he wants, if he does that.
So, again, we're kind of introducing. I've just taken over this morning show here in Lloyd, and so people are getting to know me and how much I love pro wrestling. But for you, what was the call? What was the thing that made you say, "Yeah, this is what I want to do"?
Probably just hearing stories from my grandparents, about Ray Stevens, Pat Patterson, High Chief Peter Maivia, Pepper Gomez. They would go to the shows at the Cow Palace every other week. So by the time I came along, wrestling was already on in the house. So I just grew up hearing stories about how when Ray Stevens would get mad, he would shake his blonde hair and all hell would break loose. I heard stories about Pepper Gomez. He had a cast iron stomach. He had guys jump off a ladder and he's laying flat in the middle of the ring, landing on his stomach and not budging. And so by the time I went to my first wrestling show, I was hooked.
When you get the opportunity to get to AEW, that's one thing. Pandemic hits, like you said, you guys were in Daly's place in Florida for what seemed like forever. I mean, watching wrestling of any kind was just weird during that time. Things change, things move on, and then a guy named CM Punk comes to the company. He has his first match against Darby Allin at a pay-per-view, and his first televised match, he chooses Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yes.
Take me there for a second. I mean, the anticipation back then, and again, this is over a year ago now, but at that time, it had been over 7 years since the guy had wrestled on TV. The hype, the attention, everything around it was crazy, and he chose you to be the first opponent for him. It was part of this Team Taz thing going on, but you were the guy in the ropes at that moment. Overwhelming, nerve-wracking. Are you cool with it? Like take us to that.
It was all the above. Man, Punk knew how much that match meant to me, being that it was, several weeks after my mother passed away. And so the fact that he came up to me is like, what do you want to do? Let's do this. Okay, this works. This doesn't work. let's not worry about all these people here. Let's just focus on your mom watching. So that meant a lot. And the fact that he did that spoke a whole lot about him. And the fact that he's sat down and watched matches with me, pick things apart, has been truthful about some things I need to do and some things I don't need to do. That speaks a lot because he doesn't have to. But the fact that Tony Khan, CM Punk, and that they trusted me to be in that spot, I feel and I believe that we knocked that out the park. So that just spoke a whole lot. Okay, let's give Hobbs a chance. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and you guys went for about 15 minutes too.
Yeah.
I went and watched it back.
People don't think I can go because I had all these short matches. Like when it comes time to it, I can go. So
have you been up to Canada before the Toronto stint and maybe what's been going on now? Like, have you ever been up here before?
Wrestling has taken me places I never thought about going. So I know we were in Toronto was it October, I believe.
Yep.
That was my first time going. So
anything you're noticing, like anything you say, like, hey, when I get back to Canada, I want to try this again.
There's a gym out there. I went to the best gym of my life out there. Yeah, it's called Pure Muscle. I could have stayed in that gym like 10 hours. Not that matters, but that gym was really nice. Everyone seems out in Canada to be a little bit more friendly.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Sean Spears, and he's a big fan of like the dirty hole in the wall gyms. Is that this kind of place, or are you a fan of?
Yeah, it was dirty. Some corners were clean. They had a lot of machines I never even seen. So it was our team. Our head medical doctor, Dr. Sampson, found this gym. It was good.
Again, you say wrestling's taken you places you've never been before. What are some places you hope to go to wrestle? Like, where do you want to be in front of people?
I want to be in the stadium. In front of 75,000 plus people. That would be crazy. I think the biggest crowd I've been in front of was Wrestling Punk, and that was, I think, almost over 20,000. So definitely going to the UK, going to Japan, if we end up going over there. So I'm on the ride. Wherever the ship takes us, I'm down to go.
Well, at the time we're recording, the numbers came out that more seats opened for All In the UK, and now we're at 75,000, which again is incredible.
Yes.
Thinking about going there in your mind and what this show is going to be like, have you given any thought to, if you get an opportunity, like what it's going to feel like to be around that many people? You said the 20,000 or so was the most you've been in front of.
I'm going to absorb all that energy, soak it all in, and we go from there. There's no way to create that. For me personally, there's no way to create that feeling in my mind, because I'm not there. I'm that. I mean, I get goosebumps talking about it, but there's no way I can recreate that energy until I'm actually there feeling all that.
What do you feel has been the most rewarding thing about your pro wrestling career to date? Because obviously we still got a long way to go with Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm hoping to see you for a long time, but to date, what do you think you're learning, and what do you take from your experience every time you come back from the ring and behind the curtain and maybe get a minute to think about what's going on in your life?
Man, so many things. One, just providing for my family. That's the biggest thing. And creating a legacy for myself. When it's all said and done for me, I want people to talk about how mean Powerhouse was, how grimy and unmerciful he was in the ring, So I want to be one of those guys that people talk about when, the generation after me, when they say, okay, we need this big bad dude, I want my name to pop up.
One guy that I'm dying to meet and talk to someday, I've got friends that are friends of his and have worked with him as well, but I got to ask, you must have shared some time with Mark Henry.
Oh, yeah, it's my wrestling dad. Yeah.
Tell us about wrestling dad. What does that mean?
He gets on me when I need it. It doesn't even have to be about like the good things. That doesn't matter, but it's the things that need to be fixed, things that's going to take me to the next level, things that I need to do to transition better, this works. Look at that camera even longer. Do your snarl here, you know, turn that red light on when you need to, but also turn it off when you need to. So he treats me just like his children, so, but it's a blessing to have him because I go to him for things outside of the ring.
If you could wrap up Mark Henry in one phrase for anybody that might get the chance to talk to him or even maybe get the chance to be coached by him, like you say you were, what would you epitomize Mark Henry as in a phrase if you could?
Someone who's willing to go the extra mile for you if you're willing to put in the work.
That's cool.
That's a long phrase, but if you're willing to put in the work, he'll be right by you and put in that extra mile with you.
Powerhouse Hobbs, let's talk about you a little more here. We got this Owen Hart tournament going on. You're in Canada. This is a big deal. The final is going to be in Calgary, home of the King of Hearts.
Yes.
How bad do you want this thing, and how does it feel to once again have your former partner Ricky Starks in your crosshairs?
I want it bad. I'm pretty sure everyone in this tournament is a Owen Hart fan. But friends make better enemies. You see what happened at All Out last year. Ricky and I had the lights out match at Grand Slam. I know Ricky better than Ricky knows himself. I've told him that. And I know what makes him tick and what can make him go over the edge, but I think people have been wanting to see this third match between us. I know a lot of people talk about that we were broken up too soon. And well, you look at Team Taz, there's 3 stars in that group, so, and at the end of this tournament, or I should say, after a Saturday night collision, I'm going over on Ricky. I want this bad. I need it. It'll be our third match. So
AEW Collision coming to the Brand Center in Regina. Don't forget about Dynamite and another Collision, Saskatoon and Calgary, as the Canadian tour continues for All Elite Wrestling. Powerhouse Hobbs, this is your chance now. Talk to the people in Regina. Talk to Saskatoon. Talk to Calgary. Tell them now why they got to be in those buildings.
You got to be, everyone listening to this right here, you need to come to the show. You need to see the man, Powerhouse Hobbs. Look me up. Look what I can do. Look up AEW. We're taking over the whole wrestling business. So this is something new and exciting.
All right, before we go, Powerhouse Hobbs, I have to ask you this. Can you and I have a snarl off right now?
Are you ready? It's natural for me.
I'll try.
I pop the boom doing it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, go.
You kind of got it. It's passable.
Yeah, that's the story of my whole life, dude. Passable. I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Powerhouse Hobbs, a true pleasure to meet you, sir. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring the next generation too. Again, as much as I know you're a badass in the ring, you're a pretty cool guy, and I look forward to seeing what happens.
I'm a good times.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.